Now, Catherine Zeta-Jones has been talking about her 15-year marriage to Michael Douglas. She says, it's a long road, and I think people today are so quick to throw in the towel. You have to give it your best shot and not give up when the first problem arises. So do we agree with Catherine? Do you think we give up on marriage far too easily these days? Janet? How many is it now, Janet?
4.
Did you just give up
Kind
too
of
quickly?
4.5, because there was like 1A, where I gave up before we even got married, and I kept the wedding, the engagement ring, I gave up 2 months before I was about to walk down the aisle.
So it could have been 5?
Could have been 5. But
Do you think you've given up too easily then?
Well, I've had an agenda, and, you know... well, do I give up? The fact is, do they change enough to melt, you know, because I think that when you're with someone...
How do you want them to change?
Well, I want them to fit in with me, obviously.
Obviously, why there's 4 marriages on.
Yeah, there's 2 ways of doing things in life, my way and the wrong way. No, I think I'm a little bit more tolerant now. A little bit, not a lot. But, you know, there are no children involved. I think when children are involved, it's different. And I think Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael Douglas did split up, and they had a separation, and then... Obviously, they're both very, very wealthy, so they can afford thousands and thousands of dollars worth of counselling and all of that. And they got back together again, which is fabulous, and it's good for their children. But myself, I've always been very ambitious. I've always had a very, very good career. I've always kept the houses because I own them, and I move on. But I've been with my current partner for almost 15 years, but... It involves a lot of accommodation. I don't find it easy.
So do you never accommodate? So would they say the same? Well, Janet would never compromise on anything. Because, you know, how
compromise, what is that word?
Exactly, so how boring
it's not a word I can even say very...
But then maybe you're just not the marrying type for that reason, because there is
compromise. I'm the marrying type, because I've obviously got married 4 times and Actually, when I got married in Las Vegas, in the Elvis Chapel, I went back a few years later, and there were people queuing up, idiots queuing up to get married at this chapel, and I held up my wedding certificate and I burnt it
in front of them?
In front of them, and said, do not get married here, especially if you're drunk. And then the wedding chapel called the police.
So do you go into your marriages with, oh, if it doesn't work, we'll just get divorced?
I do give it a try. I am really patient. I mean... Husband number 3 was much older than me, and I had decided that we weren't, you know, he was far too old for me, and I loved him dearly, but, you know, I couldn't face spending the rest of my life with him, and I was about to, you know, tactfully suggest we got divorced when he had a heart attack and I had to pay for bypass surgery on my insurance. So I was with him for another year.
How selfish.
We haven't got time for all Janet, so go on to you.
She's the next one.
Yeah, yours is very colourful compared to mine, I think.
Oh, you
so at least we got
wedding
married in Vegas, so don't get married in Vegas.
Exactly.
Is this 3rd marriage?
Third, I'm not like...
Yeah.
So
4,
but how many
3.
ceremonies?
Because I like the dress, about 7. Like the dresses.
What, so you have blessings on top of weddings?
Yeah, we say that, we joke about it, but they meant something at the time. But 3rd time lucky, they say, and I'm staying with this one. And although we have problems, I'm glad we worked through it. And I know everyone's heard it all before, but you can work through a marriage.
Now, I have to say, I'm amazed, because on paper, or if I'd have to place a bet,
my CV,
I would have said, I'll put this year's salary that you would not have stayed with the man who cheated on you with 2 of your best friends.
Well, you would have said that before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here I am, nearly 2 years later, and happy as ever, and that's it. Yeah, it's weird, because the other 2 marriages, there was nothing nowhere near as bad as this, and yet we're not together, and I had kids.
And this is the happiest I've ever seen you.
I so am.
Yeah.
You know what it proves? Is that, how old are you, Katie?
37, looking younger.
All right, it's the boasting. But at 37, she has matured more than I have. I think that's good proof. Yeah, definitely. You're a more mature 37-year-old if you're able to say we worked through our problems and I'm still happy, and I'm 69 and I've still got the mentality of an 18-year-old.
Yeah, but that's because she compromises and you don't. It's your way behind.
Yeah, I am the eternal spoilt teenager.
I am very patient, and I think to make a relationship work, you're in it together. You become as one. I don't think you should be separate.
To me, there's no idea.
Come as one. You don't like cut off your arm and leg.
No, but you know, you have to work together. Although I've had children with my past, I also don't believe you should be with someone just because you've got kids. I want my kids to be in a happy home. I wouldn't want my kids to be in a home where they're arguing, so they're like, they're arguing again.
Now, I would say...
Sorry, would you have given Kieran a second chance as easily if you hadn't have been pregnant?
I do say to him, Bunny probably helped because I was...
At the time,
yeah.
I would say you. No, I would say you wouldn't give up easily. So would you, with your marriage to Shane?
I'm like a dog with a bone. I won't give up till I've no choice.
But then some people, I don't know what their problems are in a relationship. A lot of it could be money because a lot of people struggle because of money.
But every relationship, whether it's married or whatever, is never 100% perfect 100% of the time. And I think, you know, you have to work on it. And you know what? Each section you get through, that at the time you think, I'm never going to get through it, I'm heartbroken, I'm this, that, you get that little bit stronger with each other as you get through.
But back in the day, couples are together longer. I think these days it's harder for relationships to work because of social media.
But then you get married really quickly.
Yeah, because I'm impulsive, Gemini, and I love being in love, and it's all or nothing for me.
But then you say, should you not get to know someone better before you make that big commitment to
marry?
marry?
No, you never marry.
Maybe, but... it's cost me money to get married and more to divorce, and you think I would have learnt, but I can't help. I love being in love, though. Would you get married again?
I don't think so, and also, if I do, no one's going to know because it is a bit embarrassing. Like, I've been engaged so many times.
What, for him or you?
Helen says marriage should mean something. You don't give up. You sort through your problems together. I know sometimes divorce is the best option, but it should be the last option.
I agree.
I don't think a woman should stay in marriage if her husband doesn't value her and doesn't rate her. And I say to all women watching, get out while the going's good and you might...
And on that note, we'll leave it there. Thank you for your comments. That's it. All we've got time for today. Don't